And moving on to our top focus at this hour. Almost a month after the ethics panel adopted its report on the cash for query case, Trinamool Congress MP Mahua Moitra has been expelled from the Lok Sabha. 2 hours after being tabled, the report came up for discussion in the House and was adopted by a voice vote. The Ethics Committee had held Mahua guilty of accepting gifts and illegal gratification from a businessman to pose questions on his behalf in Parliament. After being disqualified, Mahua Moitra called it a hanging by a kangaroo court, accusing the BJP of forcing the opposition into submission. Now expelled TMC legislator has predicted the Saffron Party's end.
This Lok Sabha has also seen the weaponization of a parliamentary committee. Ironically, the Ethics Committee, which was set up to serve as a moral compass for members. Instead, it has been abused egregiously today to do exactly what it was never meant to do, which is to bulldoze the opposition and become another weapon to talk us into submission. This committee and this report has broken every rule in the book. In essence, you are finding me guilty of breaching a code of ethics that does not exist. The committee is punishing me for engaging in a practice that is routine, accepted, and encouraged in the House. What is important is that if this Modi government thought that by shutting me up, they are going to do away with the Adani issue, let me tell you this, that this kangaroo court has only shown to all of India that the haste and the abuse of due process you have used demonstrates how important Mr. Adani is to you and to what length you will go to harass a single woman MP into shutting her into submission. You have disregarded due process, proportionality and abused every tenet. This is the beginning of your end. जब नाश मनुष्य पर छाता है तो पहले विवेक मर जाता है. We're going to come back and we're going to see the end of you. So thank you very much.
This decision was taken after a heated debate over the panel report, during which Moitra was not allowed to speak. Speaking first, Trinamool Congress and other opposition members demanded that Moitra be allowed to put her views in the House, which was turned down by Speaker Om Birla, citing past precedents. Their demand for more time to study the report was also denied.
For a quasi-judicial body, an affected person should be heard. Sir, I will request you kindly allow Mahua Moitra to be heard. Right of cross-examination is a fair hearing.
मैं निश्चित तौर पर बोलना चाहूंगी कि सर 3 बैठकें हुई और इन 3 बैठकों में इन्हें समुचित समय दिया गया, बोलने का अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बीइंग हर्ड दिया गया, लेकिन सर इन्होंने बदतमीजी की.
The BJP said that Mahua Moitra had in fact become the face of impropriety in Parliament and her expulsion was imminent to restore the credibility of the institution. But West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has thrown her weight behind Mahua, calling her expulsion a betrayal of Indian parliamentary democracy. Now this has become the latest fulcrum of opposition unity, from usual critic Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary to Akhilesh Yadav, from left to AAP. All India allies have rallied against this decision.
I strongly condemned it. Party is totally behind the Mahua, and our party will fight along with Indian alliance together. This matter opened our eyes again against the vindictive politics of BJP. It is unfortunate for the democracy. ध्वनि वोट का मतलब क्या होता है? जस्ट पास कर दिया, पास 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 पास. इसको डेमोक्रेसी को बाईपास सर्जरी कर दिया.
इस समय एक अंदाज, एक सोच पे करा दिया गया और ये बदले की भावना से किए गए. बिल्कुल साफ है, ये बेबुनियाद तथ्यों पर आधारहीन और स्रेप और बदले की भावना से ये किए गए हैं. ठीक नहीं. रोजाना सदन के अंदर सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी, खासकर मोदी जी, महिलाओं की महिमान्वित करने आ रहे हैं, गुणगान हो रहे हैं. और देखिए आज ये नए सदन में सबसे पहले महिलाओं को बलि पे चढ़ा गया.
उनकी धज्जियां उड़ाने में कोई कसर इन्होंने छोड़ी नहीं है. इन्होंने एक टारगेट किया कि इनको हटाना है और अगर उनको टारगेट कर लिया कि इनको हटाना है, उसके बाद इन्होंने अपना स्ट्रैटेजिक जैसे प्लान बनाते हैं प्लान बनाया। प्लान बना के उनको पूरी तरीके से सुनियोजित तरीके से फंसाया गया है और उनको सस्पेंड कर दिया गया। डे वन से जिस दिन से ये पूरी प्रक्रिया और ये मुद्दा सामने आया, सबको लग रहा था, सबको पता था इस देश में कोई भी ऐसा व्यक्ति नहीं होगा जिसके मन में संदेह होगा कि ये सारा कुछ इसीलिए किया जा रहा है क्योंकि अंत में इनको सस्पेंड करना है।
And for more on this, let's go across to Member of Parliament from the Trinamool Congress, Sushmita Dev. She's also national spokesperson of the TMC. Thank you so much, Sushmita Dev, for joining us here. Let me begin first and foremost and ask you, today when the discussion took place in the Lok Sabha, we saw members of the TMC asking for Mahua Moitra to be given a chance to speak. The argument coming in from the Treasury benches is that that's not the precedence. In fact, that's what the Speaker also, I believe, said. How do you react to this particular position? Because they're saying there's no precedence for what was demanded, because this is the basis of TMC's argument that the principles of natural justice have been flouted. Mahua was not allowed to speak in the House.
See, I'll tell you what. Who sets a precedent? A precedent is set by the Speaker himself, who is supreme in the Parliament. He has a huge discretionary power. And where a member of Parliament is saying that she did not have the opportunity to put forth her case before the committee, she didn't have the opportunity to cross-examine the people who had given affidavits accusing her of quid pro quo. I think the Speaker could have set a new precedent today by giving her an opportunity. If you're confident of the report, if you're confident that she had the opportunity to defend herself, then there was no reason to gag her today. And he had allocated time. She would have spoken within her time. The entire nation would have heard, because the Ethics Committee report will actually go to the entire country and internationally, if you know what I mean. But nobody will know what Mahua Moitra had to say. She could have today put it on record.
Right. But the point being made by several of the opposition, of the ruling party members, in fact, Aparajita Sarangi, speaking inside the House, says that ample opportunity was given. She spoke in great detail about her, personal matters, etc. But when it came to questions, and she says that questions related to this probe were asked, but she made it an issue of her dignity as a woman being flouted, whereas she says that there was no such issue. How do you respond to this?
See, Ms. Sarangi, I heard her speech today in Parliament, and she said that Mahua Ji was given ample opportunity. We don't know what happened inside because the proceedings are a secret. But we know that the opposition MPs like Uttam Reddy and Danish Ali also walked out of the meeting corroborating what Mahua said. So there are two versions to it. There are two versions to it, and I think a very good precedent would have been set if Ms. Moitra was allowed to speak in the Parliament. Then I think the picture would have been much clearer and the nation would have known that what actually transpired in this entire incident.
But, on the entire issue of whether gifts were given, if I could just come to the report itself now that has been tabled in the House today. Now, this report, in fact, cites interviews of Mahua Moitra on a television channel where she has allegedly accepted that the businessman concerned, Mr. Hiranandani, had gifted her things like makeup articles and scarves. And that's the basis on which this committee says that there is some kind of gifts that have been given on behalf of the questions that were asked, because it's no secret that the login ID details were also shared.
See, if today I give you an expensive cologne, okay, because I happen to know you, it doesn't mean I gave it to you to run a particular show in a particular way. That is the disputed fact. So she said, yes, he has given me a scarf and a lipstick and whatever, but that doesn't mean it was a quid pro quo to ask questions in Parliament. And I think it speaks very highly of Mahua if she at the outset said that Hiranandani was a friend of mine, and one friend can give another friend a gift, but that doesn't mean it's an exchange to ask questions in Parliament. That's the contentious part, which I think the jury is still out on that.
But that's exactly what the complainant is saying, that about 53, if I'm not mistaken, 53 or 54 of the questions asked by Mahua out of around 60 odd questions, if I've got the numbers correct, subject to correction, which is an overwhelming number of those questions, are related to either, supporting the agenda or pushing the agenda of Mr. Hiranandani or attacking Mr. Adani. That's the contention that has been made by the complainants.
You see, Mahua, right from the beginning has been raising the Adani issue in Parliament. She's also saying that she took the help of Hiranandani when it came to filing questions, but the questions were her own. But a quid pro quo is when you're motivated. Your entire motivation to ask those questions is on the basis of money. That hasn't been proved. The last time when members of Parliament were expelled in a quid pro quo case, there was substantial and conclusive evidence which showed them taking money and saying, yes, we are going to ask those questions. And this is surely not that case. It's one person's word against the other, and you need to respect Mahua for saying that, yes, I did give in my login password, and as a friend, he gave me some, lipstick or perfume or whatever. I mean, I don't think it's a cash for query kind of a situation that happened way back in 2012. There's no comparison.
Right, but there's also the larger question of this entire login being shared. Now there are, the committee also cites the 49 odd logins, and they say that as far as these logins are concerned, there were also logins that happened within the span of 24 hours across different regions or countries or different jurisdictions, and that they say does not explain how even the OTP perhaps could have secured it, because this really indicates that this was being done from different countries, raising serious questions about the security.
See, I believe that this is a gray area, and that's the reason that the Lok Sabha Secretariat once again issued a notification to say you can't give your login password to anybody, because there are a number of members of Parliament, maybe not all, who give their login and password to their office. So you see, either the law, there has to be equality of law. You can't say if you give it to your secretary, it's all right. And if you give it to someone other than your secretary outside your office, it's not the law. Clearly, it's a gray area. And I feel it's very simple. Even if they felt it was unethical, there was absolutely no need for them to recommend her expulsion.
Okay.
They could have said suspend her for 5 days, 7 days, 15 days. I don't know.
Okay.
But this is
So
clearly
you're saying the
vendetta.
expulsion is excessive punishment. That's your view. I'd like to thank
Definitely.
you. Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Sushmita Dev, for joining us and answering